And he said, but when you're 500, you live and die every game because you feel like you should be better. You see the wins, but they're always followed by losses. This team's been playing really well lately. They've been scoring runs, and they've had some young players blossom. But perhaps the most significant thing that's happened in a while was yesterday's Jack Flaherty appearance. Because Flaherty, if he's injured, doesn't have a lot of trade value, if any. They're going to get lowball offers, and teams aren't going to want to give up much for an injured rental. And he has had some back issues. But he came back yesterday with a vengeance. Lived in the mid-90s with his fastball, threw 80-something pitches, 6 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 earned run.
2 walks.
And it came on a solo home run. And after the game said, yeah, he felt great physically.
Yeah, he just didn't give up any hard contact other than that home run. I mentioned the 2 walks because that's probably the part of the stat line that stands out to me because he doesn't walk guys, but first time back and got the job done. I mean, they were just base runners were hard to come by for Cleveland. The bullpen came in, did their job, and the Tigers come away with a win. And yeah, the big story is Jack Flaherty looks like he's healthy, and it's kind of bittersweet for me because I feel terrible. We're excited that he's healthy so we can trade him,
right?
You know, and it feels wrong to be of that mindset, and yet it's kind of where they're at. Unless they're able to work out some kind of extension with him before the trade deadline, if that's what they intend to do, okay. But even then I'd start to be a little leery because this is like 2 years in a row that he's had back issues, and he's had injections. But I love what we've seen from Jack Flaherty this year has been more than a pleasant surprise. It's been the surprise of the Detroit baseball team, because if you looked at his track record and you saw it's so up and down, up and down, up and down, and really based on his health, when he pitched more, he was better. I think with just one season of exception. What was he going to be like? And he started off the season just on fire, striking out everybody, and still has this crazy ratio. It's like 115 strikeouts to 14 walks or something. It's amazing what he's done.
So, you know, you try to gauge what actual trade value he has. And then today, MLB Trade Rumors, after that start yesterday, had an updated list of the top 50 top 50 trade candidates for the 2024 Major League Baseball trade deadline. Their ranking, as they wrote, is more of a blend of the likelihood of a deal and impact of the player in question. The names atop the list are going to be those that seem both most likely to move and carry the potential for significant impact on the acquiring team. The number 1 player in Major League Baseball atop this list is now Jack Flaherty. And they do mention how important yesterday's start was. He's been and this is what they write, he's been one of the best pitchers in MLB, and while some back discomfort served as a brief red flag, he avoided a trip to the IL and returned to the mound with 6 innings of 2-run ball as this list was being finalized. And only one of the runs were earned, right? No, it wasn't even 2-run ball. It was one run. It was 2 hit ball. Anyway, the point being, they go on to say Flaherty is the type of playoff caliber starter who should command a top 100 prospect and then some, despite his rental status, which got us looking at prospects for teams that need pitchers. I mean, a top 100 prospect and then some. I mean, that's starting to sound like full trade value for Jack Flaherty. And there are teams that I wouldn't say are likely to trade for him. The weird thing is, we talked about Baltimore earlier and how much we'd love to raid that system.
Yeah.
Baltimore traded for him last year at the trade deadline.
That's the one thing that people in baseball are a little leery about is, does Baltimore want to trade for him again, knowing the disaster that happened last year?
Yeah, and it didn't work out. And would they do it again? Could you imagine trading for the same player at the trade deadline in back-to-back years? The risk of the egg on the face you are if you're Baltimore, because if you swing and miss again, I just can't even. I don't know that a GM anywhere would have the kind of confidence to take that risk, even though Baltimore has drafted and developed as well as anybody.
If I'm Baltimore, I'm not looking at Jack Flaherty. I'd probably be looking at Skubal or Crochet.
Mm-hmm.
Those options. And maybe in large part, maybe this is wrong to think that way, but because of what you just set up, because it was such an unmitigated disaster last year when they traded for Flaherty. it just totally backfired, didn't work. It's a different Jack Flaherty this year because the one you traded for last year was already bad.
Yep.
So is it possible Baltimore is still open to a Flaherty trade? Maybe. But if I'm Baltimore, I'm probably leaning towards give me what I know is Skubal or Crochet, have them under control. I can make a deal, and I'd feel better about it giving up those prospects that they have because they're not guys on the major league roster they'd give up, but they are top prospects that they have to offer.
Yep. So, I mean, Baltimore's got a lot of nuance that would say no, but they also have the type of return that the Tigers would be looking for. St. Louis had him and traded him last year, but their top 100 prospects are mostly pitchers. The Dodgers have a catcher, Dalton Rushing, at Double-A, could be in play, and they're looking for starting pitching. I wonder if the Tigers would have access to a top 10 prospect in Jordan Lawler in Arizona, because he fits all the criteria of a high on-base percentage guy. He's a shortstop. He's 21 years old. He's a AAA, and he has been hurt. And maybe that would have Arizona saying, okay, all right, we haven't seen him. We're surviving without him. And if they want to add
out
to
of
the
sight,
rotation,
out of mind.
Yeah. So that's one to keep an eye on. Baltimore, if they were to do it again, they got Sam Basallo, the catcher at Double-A, and Kobe Mayo, who is a corner infielder at Double-A. Is he Double-A or Triple-A? Triple-A. And he's your preferred guy. I think if I was looking at all these potential candidates, and the Gribe and the Twins are looking, Houston's got a outfielder, 23-year-old Jacob Melton, who's hits for some power and has a lot of speed. He could be a guy. He's a top 50 prospect. So, hey, I always like seeing independent sources that have nothing to do with the Tigers or Detroit or, not Tiger Fan 23 on Twitter suggesting a top 100 prospect. We will take it.